What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon. I'm here stepping in for Nate. He's out. Hopefully I can fill his boots to go over this new build that we did. This is the first 2025 4Runner that's built out here in the Northwest. We picked it up on Friday over in Boise. I contacted CBI and they said, this is great, come on over. Let's get this thing outfitted. Let's do all of our test products that they've been building for it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go do an overview of this entire vehicle from top to bottom. We showed up, it was bare bones stock, and as you can see, the past 4 days have been a grind, but it looks fantastic. So we're gonna start out with the front of the vehicle. First off, this is a SR5 base model. There's no tech. It does have all the basic sensors, cruise, no front camera, cross detection, lane departure, so all like the basic stuff that make it a great driver, but it doesn't have like added suspension, tech on the inside or anything like that. Starting down low, we added the skid plates. This is the aluminum series from them, full belly skids. The best part about these skid plates is opposed to just a straight run of skid plates down the middle that are pretty square. The CBI skid plates are very wide. They conform to the body lines underneath and the frame to give you the most amount of coverage and protection of the components behind them, which are going to be your engine, transmission, and transfer case. There's also two openings down below. The one in the back is going to be the drain plug access point, and the one in the front is your oil filter. So anyway, those we powder coated the TRD gray. That looks phenomenal, allows it to stand out just a little bit from the regular black, maybe a little bit harder to touch up. But we went with it just because this is probably going to be more of a camping rig versus a beat-it up type rig. Then I'll come over here. These are the new ditch brackets, ditch light brackets from them from CBI. I love these brackets because they really are low profile. Opening and closing the hood, you got plenty of clearance right here, especially when the hood is open. Very easy to install. We tossed on some Baja Squadrons that I think look really, really good. Very, very proportional to the body, and especially with the height of them. It's gonna allow for the purpose of the ditch light bracket to give you the spread. Because sometimes when they're too low pro, the hood will actually cut off the coverage that you might want close to your vehicle. I'm gonna go over all the CBI products first for you guys on this rig, and then we're gonna go over wheels, tires, and suspension. Next, we got our rock sliders. These are their DOM rock sliders for the 4Runner. This model does not have a kick out. They do have an option for a kick out that just allows for a piece to be added here so that when you are grinding across the rocks, they can pop off from the rock and it'll hit the tire opposed to having this little inlet. But these sliders are great. They can be used for a step because they do not have a crazy angle on them, but they also do add a ton of protection from the rocks flying up, destroying the side of your vehicle, and from any debris when you're taking sharp turns, logs, rocks, and stuff like that. I really like the design of these because they do have the cutouts on the top that allow for debris to kind of fall through the cracks opposed to getting caught up. And then just very, very, very simplistic with this their logo in the back. Next, we went back and forth. We did a bunch of testing. We must have installed the OG Prinsu rack in this rack 5 times, test fitting a few things, and surprisingly, everything fit phenomenal. I was really, really surprised. There's a few things that they did extra on this Pro rack that on other racks, from installing so many of them at our shop over in Boise, this rack is designed phenomenally. The two in the back, obviously, are the feet that mount into the factory positions. You have your rubber washer, your spacer on the top filled with silicone, gives a great cushion and mounting point that's really solid. And then up here, they allowed the lowest that this bracket can go is actually the spot where it's supposed to sit, so that there's an appropriate amount of pressure on the front part of this, so that it isn't shifting. You're not pushing up on it to try to have enough pressure to mount stuff to it. So very, very solid fitment, very, very low profile. You're probably talking 3/8 to 1/4 inch of a gap here, hardly anything at all. And with the Pro rack, you also get a sheet of metal behind that you can paint, wrap, whatever, and then you can actually have an accent color come through, just giving it an extra added benefit or feature for this rack. We then added the Ridgeline handles with the cutouts for their little lights or some Bajas that will run down our A-pillar, and we will put some scenic lighting on these. Got 4 of those. And then this is their new multi panels that I'm a huge fan of. A lot of the multi panels on the market that came out in the last year are just the window. And Prinsu is kind of changing the game. They're extending this all the way out into the body, giving you an additional about 6 inches of room for you to be able to mount your accessories to the outside of the vehicle. It's kind of hard to justify spending $200, $300, $400 on these multi panels when you can mount a $100 accessory to it. But this gives you way more real estate. We could stack these, put 4 of them. Would it be a little bit more wide? Yes, but there is more real estate just to be able to put stuff on. To me, that does justify the expense of being able to mount stuff to the outside. The last thing that we installed was the suspension. Peaked has a great lineup of not only coilovers with adjusters, but also collar lifts for people that are looking for a lift without breaking the bank. This is a collar lift, which actually compresses the spring a little bit more, which is where you want to draw your lift from because it's more linear. When you're hitting bumps, it feels more natural, it feels more OEM. So that's what we did on this, our 4Runner. We put a collar lift on the bottom and then a small little spacer on the top. We already drove it around for a little bit. It drives great. Way better than the factory spacer that you just toss on the top that's 1.25 inches, whatever, that gets your vehicle up. Then after that, we tossed on some peaked upper control arms. The great thing about these upper control arms is they are rubber bushing in the back, which just speaks to the longevity of these upper control arm. And then a large uniball that connects into the spindle. That uniball is going to be extremely strong, especially if you're off-roading. One thing that you're going to want to watch out for is to make sure that you're constantly cleaning them, and that will extend the longevity of that joint. But these are 35, 12.5 R17s. I want to say the offset is a +20 or +25. Great fitment. It's probably the fitment that we put on 95% of these vehicles. It gives you about a 1/2 inch of poke with a 35, about 1/4 inch of a poke on 33s. And the look is just astounding. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this build with CBI and Peaked and Prinsu. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. We'll want to answer all of them. Other than that, if you want your rig to look like this one, contact them or us. We'll make it happen. We'll see you guys on the next episode.